Shalom Yasharal. Kahalal Yahweh Akkad. So, I keep saying I'm gonna do this video, and every time I start looking into it more and adding more to my notes, and I never get the video done. So I'm just gonna throw it together like whatever. I just have to get this information all in one place because I'm tired of debating these ignorant Christians. And yes, just because you know you're a Hebrew does not mean you're not a Christian. I just want to make that clear. So, the title of this video is going to be something about destroying Christian lies, and subtitled The Genealogy of JC. So let me go to my notes right here and let's get this started. So I'm gonna come mostly out of this Holy Bible Study Edition, KJV, so we can see the bullshit that comes with this, the so-called New Testament, which is about the Greco-Roman god JC. And for all those people who want to come with there was Hebrew scriptures in the Dead Sea Scrolls, translated out of the original Greek, because this has nothing to do with the Hebrew Israelites except for the verses that they stole out of the Old Testament, so that they can, because the best lie has some of the truth in it. So here we go. Notice the title of Matthew 1:1, The Genealogy of JC. And then it gives you where else you can find the genealogy of JC at. So Matthew chapter 1, the same thing can be found in Luke 3:23-38. I'm not good at making videos, so you guys have to bear with me. You guys get seasick from me moving around and stuff. But what I can do is read and do some research. So see, genealogy of Jebus, Matthew 1:1-17. So this is the same as that, according to this book. But we're gonna find out that ain't so. So we have Matthew 1:1, the book of the genealogy of JC, the son of David, the son of Abraham. So we got Abraham begot Isaac, and Isaac begot Jacob, and Jacob begot Judah and his brethren. So I'm gonna skip down to here. And David the king begot Solomon of her that had been the wife of Uriah. Now the point of this is, this genealogy is supposed to, how do I want to say it? This genealogy is supposed to validate the fact that JC could be the king of Israel, or the Jews as the New Testament says, because he comes from David, who comes from Judah. That's the whole point. And even through the subliminal, the king, David the king. Never mind. So, David, Solomon, and then down. Let's go over here to Luke. So Luke goes in reverse. So it starts at Jesus and goes back one. Matthew starts at Abraham and goes down. Okay, but let's see what Luke. This is Luke 3:31. And which was the son of Maleah, which was the son of Menon, which was the son of Mattatha, which was the son of Nathan, which was the son of David. Hold up. David, Solomon. David, Nathan. So right there, we have a problem, Houston. That does not match. Let me, sorry, I gotta go through my notes here, where I wanna jump through. So, when I bring this out, you know, because especially on Facebook, you're arguing with these slow, illogical people. Like, it's amazing how slow our people are. They're so dense. But Matthew doesn't match Luke. So which one of these dudes is lying? Which one of these books do we throw out? How could this be the word of God if Matthew, who supposedly mobbed around with Jebus, and Luke, these are supposed to be eye account witnesses that don't have the same story. In court, this would get thrown out because their stories don't collaborate. Now, what the Christians try to say is that Luke is Mary's genealogy, and that Matthew is Joseph's genealogy, which is a lie in itself. Because one, when you look here, it goes Jesus, Joseph, and everything says son of, son of, son of, son of, son of, all the way down. Mary's not even mentioned in here. She's mentioned in this, but this is still the genealogy through the male, because the seed goes through the male. And we're gonna show that a little bit later in the video too, how everything goes through. Every genealogy is listed through the male, and they might give honorable mention to the wife, or if there's a sister or somebody like that, but there is no genealogy through the female. So that's point one. David, Nathan, David, Solomon. Strike one. So let's hit up point two. And I know, people are gonna be on the comment boards, not even gonna pay attention to this video or anything I say or look at anything that I bring up, and they're just gonna sit there and argue like women, because that's how they do it. So, second thing I want to bring up right here. Matthew 1:16. And Jacob begot Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom was born Jesus, who is Christ. So when you read this in context, this is what it's saying. Jacob is the father of Joseph. Joseph was married, or was the husband of Mary, and of them came Jesus the Geist. So JC, Joseph, Jacob. JC, Joseph, Jacob. Now, Luke 3 is supposed to match that. Let's see. And Jesus himself began to be about 30 years of age, being as was supposed the son of Joseph, which was the son of Heli. Hold up. Jacob, Joseph, Jebus. Heli, Joseph, Jebus. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to see that's a blatant mistake, a blatant error. Okay, again, I gotta ask, who's lying, Matthew or Luke? Because Luke's telling me that Heli was the pops of Joseph, and Matthew's telling me that Jacob was the pops of Joseph. So that means Jebus's grandpappy, Jebus had two grandpappies, two seed lines that he came from. That is some Christian homosexual thing. How you gonna have two dads? That's that 2017 stuff. Impossible. Another blatant mistake that we can't ignore. Now, in my arguments with some of these Christians, and they're trying to say that this is Mary's genealogy, when let's look at it in context. Jesus, the 30-year-old ninja, was the son of Joseph, who was the son of Heli. Nothing about Mary in there. None of that baloney. Nothing. They keep saying that Heli is Mary's father when he's not. It specifically says right here that he is Joseph's father. Now, let me go to my notes real quick. Some definitions. Right here. So from Jacob begot Joseph. So we're going to look at Joseph, which is G2384, heel catcher or supplanter, was the second son of Isaac. That's one. But this is the one we want to talk about. The father of Joseph, the husband of Mary. That's the dude we are talking about. This second one, the father of Joseph, the husband of Mary, according to Strong's. In the Thayer's Lexicon, same thing. First definition, Isaac's second son. In Matthew, second definition, the father of Joseph, the husband of Mary, the mother of Jebus. So now, let's go to another definition. So, we're going to look at Heli in Luke 3:23. Heli, G2242. Ascending. Who is Heli? The father of Joseph. It doesn't, wait, no, hold up. That's got to say Mary. That's Mary's pops. No, the definition specifically says that's the father of Joseph, the husband of Mary. Wait. Ain't that the same definition that we got for Jacob in Matthew? Yeah, exactly. So my point is that this, how could you believe in some garbage like this? And then when I show people these things, they argue with me. They argue the point. Well, I'm like, dude, it specifically says in the definition of the word of who it is that he is Joseph's father. So, one, we don't know which line out of David that Jebus came out of, Solomon or Nathan. Now, two, we don't know who Jebus' grandpappy is, if it's Jacob or Heli. Terrible. So let's go to this, my third point in this. And I just want to give props to my brother Quana, because he showed me this, and then it made me go into our history. It made me go into our history and check it out. So when you look right here, we're still in Matthew 1, the so-called genealogy of JC. At 13, it says, and Zerubbabel begot Abiud. Remember that. Zerubbabel begot Abiud. So I went to, where did I go? Hold up. I went into First Chronicles. First Chronicles chapter 3. And I went through this whole thing. And I started at the top, worked down. As you can see, I was taking notes and I was following the line all the way through as far as I could find it. And I mean, this looks simple, but this takes time to go through this and find who's supposed to be who and where the line goes through. But anyways, I got to show you this. So Matthew 1:13, and Zerubbabel begot Abiud. And then it goes down some more. And we're going to talk about that other stuff too. But this is the main point. First Chronicles 3:19. The sons of Pedaiah, Zerubbabel, and Shimei. The sons of Zerubbabel. Wait a minute. Hold up. Not one. Wait. Zerubbabel begot Abiud. I come over here. I don't see. That ninja is nowhere to be found. He is not one of the sons. Zerubbabel had 5 sons and a daughter, but there's no Abiud. That's a problem. That's another problem. So here's the deal. You just go inject somebody into the genealogy, because this is what they were like. They're like, ain't nobody gonna read this. Nobody's really gonna read this. And by the time they get down here, they're just gonna assume, because they're only going sun to sun, sun to sun, all the way down. It's a straight line, right? So, 90% of you guys ain't even never touched Chronicles or looked in it. So of course you're not gonna know this stuff. I didn't know this. How many times I've been all up in the Christian church reading all this stuff. I ain't never looked into this genealogy to check it out until my boy said something, and then I went in and checked all this out and was like, hey, when you get here, this up, checked out. You know, some of the names are spelled a little bit different. From Zerubbabel back to David, through Solomon, checked out. I went through. I'll show you. Bam, 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 bam. But when you get to Zerubbabel's seed, that ninja is nowhere to be found. Now here's the cool part too, because so from this guy down, none of these people are in this. None of them. I want you guys, I'm not going to read it all. You know what I mean? I trip over the names and stuff, and it's a lot. But First Chronicles chapter 3 will give you the correct genealogy that supposedly this is supposed to mirror, but it doesn't, because you get down here to Abiud and they started making shit up, like all of this. So that means from this dude down, listen to what I'm saying, from this dude down, totally 100% made up. None of these guys exist in the genealogy that's in Chronicles. So they just got down to here and said, F that. We tired. We about to make the rest of this stuff up so that our story fits. None of these people exist, to include Jebus Geist. Sorry, Christians. Sorry. But there ain't nothing I can tell you. The homie don't exist. This whole thing is a fabricated story. And what they did is they took their lies, put in some of the truth. They put some of the truth up in there. You know what I mean? To make it seem real. But it's not. So now, where we at? We're going to recap. We got to recap because I know I'm kind of boring and not exciting, and I know people have short attention spans. So, first problem is, who did it come through? From David to Solomon, or David to Nathan? Second problem, was Heli Joseph's father and Jebus grandpappy? Or is Jacob Joseph's father and Jebus grandpappy? That's 2. Strike 3. This is the third strike, to where you should not ever open up this New Testament ever again in your life and try to defend it and try to defend this idol. This is the third strike. An injected false person that doesn't exist, and the whole rest of this doesn't exist according to 1 Chronicles 3. Like, how can you read this and still defend that idol? People, you will bring this up to people, and it will. I guarantee you, there's gonna be people on this comment board still trying to defend this stuff, and that's what they're gonna say. Well, who is this and who is that? And they're gonna pick all these scriptures and say, well, who is this? And my answer to you is, it's not Jeebus Geist. Sorry, ninja don't exist. Because so there's a lot of scriptures in this New Testament that say he's the seed of David, seed of Abraham. We just proved that he has no genealogy. You can't prove he exists because the genealogies that they put in here to prove he exists are fake. So sorry to tell you guys that. I know. I'm wicked because I'm pointing this out. That's what I'm gonna get. You wicked, brother. You just don't have no understanding. I can read, homie. I understand English words. Sorry. Sorry, I got a cold. Or like not a cold, but allergies. So, let's go to Numbers. Let's do it in here because it's easier than putting it in. Hold on. Numbers. Now here's the cool part though too, because this is my Artscroll Stone Edition English Tanach. These cam dudes will read this scripture to you. Will read this to you to prove their point that the seed goes through the man. And then with the same face, tell me that Luke's genealogy is through Mary. And I just want to slap the hell out of them. Like, are you fucking kidding me? So let me read this real quick. This is Numbers 1 and 2. This is Yahweh speaking to Moses and Aaron. So it says, take a census of the entire assembly of the children of Yasharal according to their families, according to their father's household, by numbers of the names, every male according to their head count. So, census of the children of Israel according to their father's household, because that's how we as Hebrew determine our genealogy. Check and I'm gonna go and point out how this was since the beginning too. So here's 1:18. They gathered together the entire assembly on the first of the second month, and they established their genealogy. According to their families, according to their father's household, by the number of the names from 20 years of age and up, according to their head count. Again, they established their genealogy according to their families, according to their father's household. It don't get any plainer than that. It doesn't. Let me show you a couple things too. So we'll go here. So that was 18. So we're gonna get a couple examples. So this is how they did it. And these were the sons of Reuben, firstborn of Israel. And these were the sons of Reuben, firstborn of Israel, their offspring, according to the families, according to the father's household, by the number of names according to their head count, every male from 20 years of age and up, everyone who goes out to the legion. I think that's very self-explanatory. But let me go. I'm gonna give you one more example, and then we're just gonna do Judah, because maybe when they got down to Judah, the Most High wanted them to switch it up and do part of it through the mom and part through the dad. Let's see. For the sons of Judah. Hold up, brother. No, through the daughters. How do you cap niggas do it? Hold up, brother. Through the daughters. For the sons of Judah, their offspring, according to their families, according to their father's household. According to their father's household, by the number of the names from 20 years of age up, everyone who goes out to the legion. Can't get around that, homie. So you could try to squeeze. The genealogy of JC and inside of Luke being Mary's, but that's erroneous according to Hebrew culture, customs, and law. But we already know that that's baloney, because it specifically says son of, son of, son of, son of, son of. And genealogy means gene, and means the seed was passed down. Can't get past that, can't get around it, over it, under it. And I just wanted to show real quick show you how that was established since the beginning, day one. And this is for those people who say, oh, well, these people didn't have the law back then. The Torah is eternal, just like Yahweh. It was in the beginning. So when you go to Genesis 5 through the whole chapter 5, it's the genealogy and it's the record of Adam's line. So this is the account of the descendants of Adam, and it'll go down, and every last one of them. So let me just go to my notes real quick. So Adam to Seth to Enosh, bam, down to Noah. Same thing when you go to Genesis 10. You go to Genesis 10, the descendants of Noah, and it breaks it down. Everybody calls this the table of nations. All father, son, father, son, father, son. So we've cleared that up. That's established. I don't think we need to beat that to death anymore. You can't claim Luke is Mary's genealogy. 1, it doesn't say it. 2, that's not how genealogies go. And 3, why you BSing, we read the definition of what Healy said, and it said it was Joseph's father. It didn't say anything about it being Mary's father. And since he was married to, since Joseph was married to Mary, Heli became his father in the genealogy. That's the excuse they give me. No, Ninja. The definition specifically says it's Joseph's father. Sorry. I kind of wanted to go into this. I don't know. Here we at we're at 35 minutes, and I'm a boring speaker anyway. So, but I just wanted to let me go on. Let's do this real quick. Let's do this real quick. So they try to establish that Jesus is a Judite, according to the New Testament. But when you read into these stories and you read about him, his family, and who they were, they're Levites, according to the story, because they had to get them some way. They had to justify them being in the temple, because when you go into the law, did I write that down? Man, I don't think I wrote it down. I didn't write the law down. Okay. Verses giving the charge of the temple to the Levites. Numbers 1:51, Numbers 3:10, Numbers 3:38, Numbers 18:7, and the whole book of Leviticus. The charge of the temple is given to the Levites. So Levites up in the temple. But then your boy Jesus goes up in the temple, right? And we're going to show you something else too. Real quick. So, I'm sorry I'm so disorganized, but maybe one day I'll get better at this video thing. So 1:5. There was in those days of Herod, the king of Judea, a certain priest named Zechariah, of the course of Abijah, and his wife was of the daughters of Aaron, and her name was Elizabeth. So he's a priest daughter. He's a priest. Elizabeth is of the daughters of Aaron. And it came to pass that while he executed the priest's office before, I'm just going to read it as it is, God, in the order of his course, according to the custom of the priest's office, his lot was to burn incense when he went into the temple of, oh my God, yeah. So we established that Zechariah is a priest, Elizabeth is a Levite. So they're both Levites, right? So we're going to skip down to (13). But the angel said unto him, Fear not, Zechariah, for thy prayer is heard, and thy wife Elizabeth shall bear thee a son, and thou shalt call his name John. Everybody, if you read this and you supposedly have knowledge of this book, you know that John is Jesus' cousin. Elizabeth is Mary's cousin, which would, guess what, make Mary what? It would make Mary a Levite as well, right? Hold on, I gotta skip through these notes and buy that. Improve that real quick. So 1. You're not married. So when we get down to like Luke 30 and more, it's talking to Mary. You can see that. So I wanted to hit this real quick because the angel Gabriel is talking to Mary still. And he says, "And behold, thy cousin Elizabeth, she hath also conceived a son in her old age." So we established that Mary is Elizabeth's cousin. Elizabeth, when you put 1 plus 1, you get 2. Elizabeth is a daughter of Aaron, right? Mary's her cousin. So how could Luke's genealogy be Mary's? It's not. Mary's a Levite. Skip that. Let me go down. And I want to make a point. This video is getting long, and I know I'm boring. So let me shoot this out real quick. These verses prove that James, the brother of JC, was a priest and a leader of the Jerusalem community. Matthew 13:5, Mark 6:3, Galatians 1:19, Galatians 2:19, 12, Acts 12:1. That's for debate. Acts 15:13, 21:18, 1 Corinthians 15:7, and James 1:1. But let me prove something on there too. Matthew 13:55. Matthew 13:55. Matthew 13:55. Is not this the carpenter's son? They're referencing Jebus. Is not his mother Mary, or called Mary? And his brethren James and Joseph and Simon and Judas and his sisters, blah blah blah. So we know James is Jesus' brother. Mary's his mother. Mary's the cousin of Elizabeth. Elizabeth is a son of, or excuse me, is a daughter of Aaron, and her husband is also a Levite priest. So we're establishing the fact that Mary's side of the family, according to this bullshit ass story, is Levites. Let me just show you, because James is up in the temple leading. When you go to Acts 15, when you go to Acts 15, 13 through 29, you have Acts 15, 13 through 29. You have James presiding over the council at Jerusalem and gives sentence to Paul and Barnabas about teaching the Gentiles. Verse 28 will tell you, in that day, let me see, I'm sorry. Sorry. Okay, so go to Acts 15, 13 through 29. That shows James in the temple, and Paul had to go answer to him. Acts 21, 17 through 36 is entitled Paul arrested in the temple. I'll show you that. So, Paul arrested in the temple. And it goes down to 36. But the point I want to, when you read this, pay attention to the fact that Paul was in there. Paul was in the temple, and it's noted that James again was in the temple, and he was the leader. And when Paul gets drugged out of the temple by the thousands of Jews that are zealous for the law, James and them shut the door of the temple behind him. And again, reference those numbers 151, numbers 3:10, numbers 3:38, numbers 18:7, and the whole book of Leviticus to know who's supposed to be up in the temple. And it's Levites. I guess that's it. I'm gonna stop the video there. I just want to hit a couple points again. So let's see what we went over. 1, Matthew says the birth line goes through Jebus. Jebus' birth line goes through Solomon. Luke says it goes through Nathan. Point 2, Matthew says Joseph's father, who is Jesus' grandpappy, is Jacob. Luke says Joseph's father is Heli. Incorrect. It's 2 strikes. You go into the genealogy in Matthew 1, Zerubbabel begot Abiud, all the way down, fake, false, fabricated. And you can verify that in 1 Chronicles 3. And I believe it's about verse 19 that it goes into Zerubbabel. But again, everything that I've gone over, I suggest you read every last part of every chapter of everything so you can see for yourself. So, Jesus' father, Mary, all her side of the family, Jebus' brother, all Levites, according to Luke, Acts, and all that. So your whole story, here's the point. If you make up, if the beginning, the foundation, everything you build your story upon is fake, it's quicksand, it's built on top of marshmallows, the whole rest of the story is garbage. I just want to point out to my people that you gotta stop and pay attention to what's going on, what's said, and the facts. Everything about that book is fake. It wasn't written by us. It was written by Greco-Romans in Greek, not Hebrew. And they lied because they didn't know our history, they didn't know our culture, and they didn't know how things happen in the laws. The beginning of the story is fake, the whole thing is fake. The beginning of the story is fake, the whole thing is fake. I'm going to say it again. If the beginning of the story is fake, the rest of the story is fake. And I know I'm still going to get these people, because they do it to me on Facebook. I'm still going to get the people that are going to come with well, who's this then? And who's this in this scripture? And Deuteronomy 18 and who's this, and it says, and the Messiah will be cut off. It's not Jeebus Geist is my answer. Anyways, Kahalal Yahweh Akkad, Barakatha Yasharal, Bahasham Yahweh. Bye.